Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another album review / reaction. And this is going to be something that's a little different for us because we may not be listening to this entire project based on what we've seen and what we sort of have a kind of a bit of understanding of what this is. So, as you've seen, I'm sure from the title of the video, we are going to be listening to the brand new Bad Omens sort of album set of 3 EPs release. I'm not sure exactly what to refer to this as. They are calling it the Concrete Jungle, the OST, which is cool. I don't know exactly what they mean with that. And I tried looking up a few different sort of like articles yesterday just to see what it said. And basically they were just sort of announcement articles from like Metal Sucks and a couple of other websites, Blabbermouth, I think, and a couple of other ones, just basically saying Bad Omens announced the Concrete Jungle OST, which is going to feature 3 parts. And here's what they are, and here's what it is, and when this is when it'll be coming out. So there's 26 songs total, and I believe the last section, sort of like the last third of these 26 songs, are live recordings. And so it's Chris's and my plan to basically skip those and see. If we're having a lot of fun listening to this and we're curious, we'll pick one of those songs and just see how they perform the songs live. But for now, it is not our intention to listen to any of the live stuff. If you're familiar with the channel, you'll know that we don't generally do a lot of live things here. We generally talk more about music production things and just how we feel about studio albums in general rather than performance. We try to come at things from a little bit more of a technical standpoint, but also our opinions, and not necessarily so much from technical standpoint in terms of music performance. So hopefully that makes sense. If you're new here, what we're going to do is basically we'll let you know which song we're on. We'll go sequentially through the album, and we'll just like listen to the song, talk over it a little bit, and then we'll pause afterwards, and we'll discuss our thoughts a little bit more in depth, and then we'll move on to the next song. And I will count down before each song so Chris and I can sync up on our respective ends, and so you watching, if I have to upload this video without the audio from the album in the video so that you can sync your own copy of the songs up with us. I know it's annoying and I know it's a bummer, and I'm hoping, because Bad Omens is a younger band, they're on Sumerian record label. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of reactions out there to Bad Omens out on the internet, so I think that their music is set to such that we will get a copyright claim on the video, but it won't necessarily be blocked in any countries. Maybe Russia and Belarus, which is what 2 of the countries that are like blocked. Most of the stuff I upload that has music in it, which is 99% of everything we upload on this channel, is blocked in Russia and Belarus, which is interesting.
Rotten Soviets did it again.
Yes, and so, but hopefully, at the end of the day, I'm hoping that what you'll be able to hear exactly what we're hearing while we're listening. But if not, I will do countdowns, and you'll be able to sync up with us. And I will include description or links in, or no, I will also include links in the description to listen along to the album and everything. If you don't have a copy of it with you, which I don't even know if they sell this in physical copy, but I'll include links. And then if you look on the timeline of the video, I will also include timestamps as well, so that you can skip around the video to whatever parts you want. And then at the end, we'll sort of give our overall thoughts, though I'm not sure we need to necessarily think of this like a review. It's going to be more sort of like seeing what's going on.
Yeah, so, in comparison.
Yeah.
I suppose.
So, Chris, let everybody know what our kind of general thoughts were about their album that came out, I think at this point, 2 years ago, The Death of Peace.
I think you're right. It's funny because we did our top 12 for that year, and I don't think either of us had that album as number 1. I know I didn't. Mm-mm. But we both had it on there, and it was kind of a surprise where we were both like, it's the Bad Omens album, isn't it? And then we talked about it more, and then we sort of came to the conclusion that it was actually the best album of the year.
Yeah. I think it was your number 2 and it was my number 3.
Yeah, either 2 or 3 for me.
And we were both really like, the more we talked about it, the more I was like, I could easily make a case for this album being the number 2 or number 1 album of the year for me.
Yeah.
And we really liked it a lot.
And I went back and took some time off from it just unintentionally, and I went back and listened to it again the other day. Not really the other day, I suppose, but like a couple of times over the last few weeks, and it is just insane. it's such a good album. It is the dynamics and like the music, like the song types, like every song does something different within itself. There's no one genre involved. They're just really so well written. Incredible album, honestly.
Yeah. At the time, we were saying we were both very impressed with how they managed to make the heavy metal parts of the songs still feel very heavy and intense and bigger, even though the electronic parts of the songs still felt as massive as they possibly could have felt. And I remember that being a very impressive thing to me the first time I heard it. Because I will say in general, this is not necessary. I was surprised how much I liked this album. I knew who the band was, but I didn't ever delve into either of their first two albums at all. Yeah. And so this was their first album that I really gave it a shot. And I remember listening to it the first time, and I was just like, wow, this is actually a really great song. And the second song, wow, this is a really catchy song. And the third song, and it just happened the whole way through the whole album. And it's a big, chunky, meaty, full album full of... There's multiple songs that have no guitars whatsoever. There's certain songs that have no electronics, and they're just heavy. There's more like rock stuff. And
some songs have no clean vocals.
Exactly, yes. And so there were so many things that really impressed me about that album. And so this, from what I was reading, the Concrete Jungle OST is apparently what they're calling a companion album to that album. So I don't think they don't consider this a new album or anything like that. Though I do think we're going to get, 9 songs that are brand new songs.
Oh.
And I think then we're going to get some remixes or reworkings of a couple of the songs. And we'll just have to see what they are. I have not heard any of this at all.
Same.
I have not listened to any samples or anything at all because I wanted to be totally fresh for this because I thought maybe there was a chance that we would do this. And I'm really glad that we decided to do it. So I am ready to jump into it. Are you ready, Chris?
I am.
Okay,
I've not heard a single ounce of this.
I have one thing I want us to do first real quick. So just go ahead and look right down here, and I'll be right back with you in just 1 second. Okay, so for this video, I did not plan this, but I have blue shirt, Black Panther, blue cream soda, Frosty. This is just a blue cream soda in a glass bottle.
Is it going to be like a raspberry blue?
No, it's just I've already had one of these to be honest. So this isn't like a reaction to the beverage, but it's just really good cream soda that they made blue for whatever reason. But they have like a red one, they have an orange one, and they do have other flavors. So they do have like an orange sort of cream soda. They have like a couple different root beers. I think they have like an orange root beer as well. And this is just, I actually bought this at Menards. Which, if people are unfamiliar, or depending on where you're watching this from, look at that. It's very, very rare that I drink something out of a glass bottle.
Is that a problem for you?
Makes me feel badass.
It should. Glass bottles are the best.
Yeah, it really is. But what was I saying? Oh, Menards. Menards is it's mainly like a store in the Midwest. But it's a very big chain.
Yeah,
and
it's a regional Home Depot, basically.
Yes, it's like a Home Depot or a Lowe's, very similar to those two things. But they're a lot more prevalent, especially in Nebraska, where I live, in the towns that aren't necessarily the two big, huge cities. Like the population of 1 million, in Omaha, which has a population of around 1 million people, there are no Menards. But in all the little 20,000 people cities and, 10, 15,000 people cities, there's a Menards in every one of those. So they have a lot of really interesting food products, drink products, all sorts of cool things. They run all sorts of neat sales. And one of the things that they are very famous for is having all these old-timey candies and old-timey chocolates and different flavors of like tons and tons of like sunflower seed flavors and all sorts of things like that. And they're all off-brand things or like local sort of Midwest brands that sell through there. Yeah, it's really cool. You can buy a lot of really cool stuff.
I lived there 25 years. I had no idea.
Yeah. Well, most people don't think of Menards. You go there to buy your lumber and for building your deck, or to buy a new oven or something. you don't necessarily go there to buy food, but they do have a lot of really great and very unique food products, and they have these Frosty brands, and so it's like $4.50 for a pack of 4 of these, which is really good.
That's great. My favorite thing about Menards is that a friend of mine years ago, he combined Lowe's, Home Depot, and Menards into one word. And he called it Howard's, and he would just use that as like a catch-all. It's like, I'm going to go to Howard's, and it meant he was going to go to any one of those 3 places.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes, honestly, depending on what you're looking for, you got to go to all 3 of them to find the exact thing.
Right. Which is something I still use, even though nobody here knows what Menards is. And
I'm going to go to Howard's. Well,
yeah. I'm going to head over to Howard's and get some whatever.
Going to get some lumber.
Yep. See if they got I got to get another 12 millimeter.
2x4.
You're just hammer, he says.
Hammer, 2x4. Nail. Okay, so let's go ahead and listen to this. Like I said, I don't know what we are going to get here. I am going to just load all 26 songs into my Winamp. Don't blow my eardrums out, please. So I'm assuming that this first track, I see it's 57 seconds long. Let's just listen to the first track and go into track 2.
I think I maybe have heard this band song, track 2, but I don't. We'll see.
Yeah, this is their big song that they've been pushing for a while, and this, as far as I remember, is the one that features Poppy. Van. It's VAN. So apparently the term Van stands for something I don't know.
Right.
What? I probably don't want to know.
It is an initialism.
Yeah, I don't want to know, probably.
Actually, it might be an acronym because it's also still a word.
We drive a van. 2x4.
Edit that. We drive a van.
Mr. Black.
Mr. Black. Yes. Love that you made that reference.
I know. Well, you got me understand. I've told you the wrestling Simpsons crossover is very strong, and I'm starting to understand some Simpsons things from watching all the Botchamania videos.
That's fantastic.
Okay, so track 1, C Project /CJOST/Beat Death, which is hilarious. You ready?
Yep.
In 3, 2, 1. I'm really curious about the production quality of this. Is it going to be less than, because their last album they put a lot of effort into during the pandemic, and they did it all themselves, I believe. So I'm curious how these new songs are going to sound.
If they did it all themselves, I'm going to say that these will sound just as good.
They should.
There's no way. Like, there's not going to it's not going to be able to be ruined by another person. Like, if they put that much work into their previous album themselves, that they did it because they wanted to sound.
I would think that, but I've heard Led Zeppelin 4. So I have no faith in a band ever recording themselves, no matter how big or popular they are.
I love it. Never stop hating that album.
Oh, I won't. Okay, here we go.
There it is, Violence Against Nature.
Yep. Oh, VAN. I hate nature so bad. I want all the violence towards it.
Isn't it strange to create something that hates you?
This is good stuff.
Oh. It sounds more rock and less electronic. Even these elements, which are fine. The drums are more contained in the middle. Dude, Poppy can do no wrong.
Correct.
Except for when she does wrong, like her last album that wasn't very good in my opinion.
That album's so good. That album's so good.
I know you keep listening to it and telling me that. It's better than we thought it was. Ooh, that's cool.
That's good.
That's cool.
That's real good.
Chris Schoenberg would hate this.
Good. She's going very tattoo in this.
Oh, yeah, yes, that's a good call. I'm surprised he hasn't sung at all.
Yeah, I think this is just her.
Wouldn't that be cool if every song would just featured a different vocalist?
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if we've heard that.
Everyone hates you.
Good. We're getting to some spirit box here.
Man, oh man.
Now there's Bad Omens.
This is such a perfect combination.
Yeah.
God.
And I love the fact that it's 4:30. The length. It's not some 2 minutes and 57-second long song. Yeah.
Oh man. Good luck topping this.
Violence against nature. Violence against nature.
Oh, that's cool. That sweeping
Violence
synth part.
against nature. Violence against nature.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I love the wiping off of the one that's there to put another one back on.
Oh, they need to feel the sting of defeat.
You gotta get
fresh.
a fresh line.
They need the fresh sting of defeat.
I have heard
Okay.
2 new Poppy singles,
Okay.
and this explains them.
Oh. Okay.
It is the heaviest that she's ever been. Both of them are.
Okay.
However, this I'm talking about something that is not relevant to this, but I did find them to be a little bit lacking in Poppy personality. They sound almost derivative as a result of that. But anyway, this is fantastic.
See, I agree. I do think that everything in this was really cool. It did almost feel like they were like, Poppy, record us some vocals and just send it to us and we'll build a song around it, rather than setting the vocals to like the crafted music already. You know what I mean? It almost felt like a remix of a song.
All right, yeah, I can dig that.
Like it just kind of felt like sort of 3 different parts. And then what they did to extend the song a little bit more was like, okay, let's take this part that we had over here and we'll just copy and paste it over here, but we'll take the drums out. And now that's how songs are made, just in
Right.
general. But to me, I did get a bit of a feel of that, like, if you're like, if someone just sent you tracks and they're like, make a remix out of this, and you crafted something around the vocals rather than it being the other way, where both things were kind of written in harmony together. So I do feel that it was a little bit disparate feeling, but just a tiny bit. And I do feel like there were enough parts of that song. I don't really know what the chorus of it was. I guess that opening part where she was doing the violence against nature part. But then I feel like every time she repeated that vocal line, it was over different music, which I think is maybe one of the reasons that I feel that way about it.
Oh, sure.
Like they just kind of were like it seemed like it was kind of generic vocal lines that didn't have a lot of singing to them. It was just violence against nature. Like it's very simple, right? And then the music is basically there was really pretty much only one guitar note played that whole time, and it was just it was just and then it was just like right patterns of the lowest note you can play on the guitar, however they had it tuned. And that's fine. That's how a lot of music is made nowadays. And that is one of the things that Bad Omens has done. However, I will say I do think that on The Death of Peace of Mind, one of the things that really did impress me was the sort of musicality aspect of everything that they were doing. And none of it felt lazy to me. And I don't want to say that this song felt lazy, but I do feel like it was missing something that was special and was there in every one of the songs on their album. But again, this is kind of like an EP thing, so it's like maybe we're comparing apples to oranges a little bit. Who knows? Mm-hmm. And sorry, go ahead.
I would say maybe at the very least you could say it feels a little less inspired.
Maybe that's a good way to say it. Yeah.
Yeah. Just in the sense that like it is relatively repetitious. I suppose. Mm-hmm. Especially in the vocal, I think that I could definitely agree with the idea that they had this collaboration set up and they, gave her some sort of musical direction, almost like a storyboard kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where it's like, here's your basic structure for how this is going to be composed, and from like, chords and stuff perspective. She gave a vocal that fit it, and then they threw it onto this and then did a bunch of stuff to it.
Yeah.
And that she wasn't actually part of the process, which, I mean, it's cool. I got nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and a lot of...
But it does, I get that feeling. It makes sense to me.
Yeah, and a lot of music is made that way nowadays. I will say it's very cool that, and one of the things that impressed us both, and I think we already said this with Death of Peace of Mind, was the fact that they didn't feel pressured to make the songs metal songs. Like they felt fully comfortable to have 3/4 of a song be just a straight up electronic song, and then have the last fourth of the song be the metal part. So that tells me that right there that they're approaching it from the mindset of someone who's like, we are not going to be tied down by like constraints of what we're doing here. And that shows here even more because that was a Bad Omens song that did not feature the Bad Omens singer at all.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
yeah, like they've almost got their like Bad Omens, the production house, like Royksop, or any of those electronic artists who have no permanent vocal, and they are producers like Daft Punk, for example, who does stuff like that.
Yeah, and maybe that's another reason it felt like a remix to me almost, because it's like
that makes sense.
We'll see.
And I will say, all of this being said, however negative any of it might sound, I can think of nothing better in the whole world than an entire album of Bad Omens with Poppy. Like,
I know, right? I would like
it hit so well. It hit so good, and it just sounded. Oh, it's exactly what I want.
I would have liked to hear them sing together, but
sure,
it's still cool the way that it was. And that part in the middle where it was like her screaming and it was just vocal, like they were doing the
distortion and jittering,
and I should say too, I loved the intro track too, where it was just sort of like vocal takes, just like manipulated and stutter edited and stuff. Then that's what they did, that sort of same style with Poppy's like screaming vocals during that like big breakdowny part of the song. So I really appreciated that. And as soon as the song started and I heard that metal part, I was like, okay, this sounds a little bit more traditional metal than the stuff on Death of Peace of Mind, which did feel very produced, and I don't say that in a bad way at all. This just felt a little bit more like a band. The cymbals and everything felt a little bit more real. And I'm sure it was made the same way that the other stuff was, but I felt it was contained a little bit more rather than being so enormous. But I also think that was not necessarily to the detriment of the song. I do think it still sounded phenomenal. So, all right. So now I don't know what to expect for the rest of these. And unfortunately, the copy of this that we're looking at is not telling me who's featured on any of the other songs or anything. So I don't.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Do you see any metadata on any of these?
Yeah. It's showing up in Fubar.
Oh, okay. I'm using Winamp, not Fubar. So what do you see for the next song? Does it feature somebody?
Yeah, this is Bad Omens, Health, and Swarm. Health I don't know, Swarm I do know.
Okay.
And that's going to be interesting. I don't know Swarm super well, so I can't look at that name and be like, oh, here's what I can expect out of this, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was another song that did not have any Bad Omens vocals.
I really hope if this is what this is, I want there to be at least one, if not two, or all the rest of the songs to just be like sweet, badass rap verses. I want that so bad. I was listening to music in the car earlier today when we were coming home from the hospital, and I was listening to a soundtrack. See, we've been listening to soundtracks a lot recently because it's a fun thing for my mom and I to just throw a soundtrack in, and then maybe if one of us doesn't like one of the songs, we might like the next one. You know, that's the great thing about compilations. Mm-hmm. And so we were listening to a soundtrack, and we were actually listening to the soundtrack to Titan AE, by the way, which does have an exclusive Power Man 5000 song on there called This Is the End, or The End of Everything. I think it's called The End of Everything. But anyway, after that was done, I ejected the CD, and on the radio, a new song was playing, and it was a Five Finger Death Punch song featuring DMX.
I bet you love that.
It was really nice. I did really like it. It was like one of the least heavy Five Finger Death Punch songs. And for the record, for people watching, I'm not a big Five Finger Death Punch fan. I do like their earlier stuff. And their first album has some of like the coolest, most kick-ass riffs ever on it. And then they definitely changed. And I have always loved Ivan Moody's vocals, and I liked his previous band called oh my God, I was just thinking of it earlier today because nobody knows that band. Moto Grader. Moto Grader.
Oh, that sounds familiar, actually.
Yeah, they kind of dressed up in all paint and stuff, and they were definitely at the same time as like Slipknot and Mudvayne were getting popular. And they had two big songs. But anyway, it doesn't matter. It was an interesting thing. I've always wanted DMX to sing on like a rap metal song because his voice is so raspy. I feel like it would really work well. And unfortunately, I thought it was Exhibit the whole time because he sounded more like Exhibit than DMX. So I don't know, whatever. But whatever. Really I'm hoping we get some hip hop vocals on this, I guess, is one of the reasons I bring that up. Okay, so this next one is The Drain. Are you ready?
I am.
Okay, in 3, 2, 1. I don't know if I can take this. Are we listening to the best album of the year, Chris?
I can't wait for that to be the case.
It's not even a real album.
It already sounds incredible.
It does, and
it's got so much space.
Oh, that kick drum.
Yep.
You can tell they're just having fun.
Oh man, it just got better.
That bass.
Mm-hmm. And it fits with that kick so well.
I can't be safe. Reaching for the life we threw.
This is gonna be nuts, man.
Interesting to have the tom drums with the driving kick drum like that.
There is just masterclass in electronics.
Yes. I feel like his vocals are a little low here. Like I'm trying to reach in and pull them out a little. But I don't think it's too low.
Yeah, they're not lost, but
No.
they are a little low.
I hope Clayton hears this stuff and is like, I gotta kick my ass in here. You know?
Oh, listen to that. What are they doing? Why?
I don't even know.
It's like they just can't stop having awesome ideas.
That's a great way to say it. Yes, it's a cool beat too. Like, I mean, it just sounds badass immediately. Just don't fade out.
What if they do it for every song? Darkest Timeline. Ugh. Those drums. I love that they added one more. At the end. God.
Woo.
How do they do it?
I know, right? It's just like the moment the song starts, awesome. Never gets any less awesome. It
doesn't.
It just stays at the height of what it is the entire time.
There's something about their music that just has like this tube of low end where it's like as soon as the song starts, you've just got this driving like a river of lava that just carries everything forward and it never stops, but you never lose anything in it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but that to me the most impressive thing is that the drums, even though that is true and the low frequencies are there like in abundance, the drums never fail to feel massive. Like you don't lose the punch of the kick. You don't lose that. It's still there. You feel it every hit, and that's one of the things that's impressive to me. And that was one of the things that impressed me a lot too with their Death of Peace of Mind, which now that we're 2 songs into this, I think we're getting a little bit more of an idea of what this is. Definitely less, or at least I mean, I guess the first song was a little bit more metal, but I still think that one was pretty electronic throughout. I would not be shocked if we didn't really get too much metal sounding stuff on this, at least of these first 9 songs. But maybe one of them is just a straight up balls to the wall metal song. Who knows? You know,
they've done it.
Yeah, and so like I don't know, but I'm really impressed with the production. I think it's really really nice. Everything, all the frequencies are being handled very well.
Yes, this sounds like sort of like flagship work. Like good luck making this kind of music sound better than this does.
That's why I said, I don't know if you heard me or not, but I said, I hope that Clayton hears this and it gets him to kick him in the butt a little, because you know, I feel like a lot of the times that's the other thing that like impresses me about this so much. Like I just feel like there are so many artists that would be afraid to like it's like their Bad Omens is not afraid to take that step beyond like, okay, we're still a metal band, but like we don't have to prove to anybody that we are. So like that song was really not a metal song. I mean, honestly, if you told me there were no guitars in that at all, I would believe you. You know, during the chorus, there was some crunchy stuff happening and it got wide. But if you told me that was some sort of a bass, like some sort of a synth bass spread wide with like analog filters and things on it to try to make it sound more like a guitar and then distortion thrown over the top of it, I would absolutely believe you. And so like just the fact that they're like, we don't care, you know, we're gonna go as hard as humanly possible. So far on every song I've heard them do, and this includes on Death of Peace of Mind, like every song is them going as hard as they can. And I just feel like so many artists hold back just a little bit, you know, and I just don't feel that here at all. Like I feel like there's no holding back at all. And I think that's so impressive.
It is. It so is. And it could even be honestly the difference between being being great as an artist and being exceptional. Where it's like what the thing where it feels like other artists are holding back is simply that they don't have the vision or the direction or whatever is happening with the way that they're making their songs to get to this level. Because this, like, you know, there's a reason not everything sounds like this.
Yeah, and whoever mastered this, which probably was them, I would guess. Which, if that's the case, if I was in another band, I would be like, "Can you please master my album for me?"
Yeah, can I please join your band?
Masterfully mastered. I mean, everything about it is amazing. And so, that's absolutely great. It's absolutely. I can't even wait. Let's just go to the next one.
Yep.
So what does this one say for you?
Yeah, this is terms and conditions. It's got Bad Omens and Bob Vylan, whoever that is.
Bob Vylan.
Bob Vylan. Yeah. Bob Vila's home again.
Bob Vila. We both made the
And it's
same
only
joke at the same time.
And it's all. I thought you made it because I made it. It's only 2 minutes 8 seconds, so it might be something else.
Maybe this is a balls to the wall metal one, like I said.
Maybe,
I don't know
yeah.
who Bob Vylan is though, or whatever. So
If he can play guitar like he can build a house, we might be in for some real work.
what was the thing that he always used to say?
Oh, this is gonna be great. I
Bob
love little
Vila.
catchphrases.
He was like the spokesperson for something, and it wasn't Binford Tools, because Binford Tools was by far superior to whatever he was hawking. But
Binford tools aren't real though.
I know. Come on, let me live in my world of home improvement being real. I want
Yes,
to. I
of
want to
course.
live in that world. All right, whatever. Terms and conditions, which is an awesome title for a song. Let's just go ahead and get into it.
Yep.
In 3, 2, 1.
Who they killing when they making a killing? Conditions getting worse.
Let's
Ignore the
go.
terms. Conditions. Who they killing when they making a killing?
This one's gonna fade out, guaranteed.
Worse, ignore the terms. Conditions. Wake up, check the socials and the emails. God is outside, but the devil's in the details.
Ooh, the British
Tearing
accent.
The motherland apart for coltan. Sell it back for a couple
Mode
grand
step.
at retail.
Yep.
They digging dirt, the same dirt under these nails. Scroll through pics of fresh kicks of resale. Ooh, baby, you drive me crazy. I double tap it. So hope through it, so dope through it. That's bad habits. Who they killing when they making a killing? Conditions getting worse. Ignore the terms and conditions. I said, who they killing when they making a killing? Conditions getting worse. Ignore the terms and conditions.
Can you hear me through the white noise?
Oh,
Can you hear me through the white noise?
oh, that's badass. Oh, I love it. I love this. I love it. I'm so excited. I feel like a little kid.
Sound like what?
Yesterday I saw a man killed. More thoughts and prayers getting added to the landfill. The bandwagon is broken, fix the band wheel. Not enough bandwidth, you have to stand still. Otherwise you could walk off the edge. Your favorite celeb might be off their meds. Ridiculed till they decide to off themselves. But their soul can't rest cause it's lost on threads. Who they killing when they making a killing? Conditions getting
great.
worse, ignore the terms and conditions. I said, who they killing when they making a killing? Conditions getting worse, ignore the terms and conditions.
Can you hear me through the white noise? Can you hear me through the white noise?
Can you hear me through the white
Give me the chorus one more time. Don't be scared, you wieners.
Who they killing when they making a killing?
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Just need to ask for more things out loud.
Guitar solo?
Conditions getting worse, ignore the terms and conditions.
That'd be so awesome.
Not in 5 seconds.
No. Interesting.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Yeah.
That was great. I wish it was twice as long with a big chorus in the middle and a bridge, but I'll take it.
That was cool.
That was great. I will say, I love British accents, but I'm not necessarily yet sold on the rapping British accent. And especially that rapping British accent. I do have a couple of there's a couple of, well, it's interesting. I don't know if I have an album that's full of a singer, like a lead singer that raps that way, but like Linkin Park, they have a song on their most recent album that has a guy that has that particular English or UK accent, and I like it. It's weird. I know. I guess I haven't fully formulated my opinion on this, so I shouldn't just out loud. But I guess part of me does think it's really cool, and the flow is really interesting. But at the same time, I also don't know if I necessarily care for it. I don't know. I guess I'm still trying to decide.
Yeah.
So the end to that. but I love that. Sick beat. Really awesome. Can you hear me through the white noise, which is the one clean vocal that he had in their other song, the Artificial Suicide song from Death of Peace of Mind.
Yep.
Amazing.
Sampling themselves.
Yep.
Super cool.
Great. Love it.
And now it opens up this album even further to like, what in the world could we get next? You know?
Because the next song says recharged.
Yes. Whatever that means.
Hedonist recharged. So what do you see for the metadata on this one?
Bad Omens and Wargasm.
Oh, I know who they are.
I thought you might. It sounded familiar, but I don't know.
Yes,
off the
I
top of my head.
believe that they are a female sort of electronic, heavy, sort of like maybe in this moment type of thing, with a lot of industrial stuff.
Okay.
Totally
Well,
fits with this. So
Excitement is building with
yes.
every word.
Now, usually if I see something is recharged or something, that makes me think like remix. But maybe the song is just called Recharged. I don't know. Maybe they have a song called Hedonist, and this is the Bad Omens version. I don't know.
Well, it's interesting because you get down later into this track list, and you've got things like The Gray and Artificial Suicide Unzipped. And so I wonder if these are like fancy different words for like remixed and unplugged.
I was gonna say when I see Unzipped, I think acoustic. I don't know why Unzipped gives me a acoustic vibe.
Well, I mean, it could be based on the fact that this starts with like, you know, C/project/C Jost or whatever. Like, you know, maybe it's talking like zip file type thing. It's more allusions to,
sure.
you know, computery nonsense and
Yep.
things
Nope.
like that.
100%. Guarantee. Yep. Absolutely. All right. Well, let's see what this is. This is slightly longer, about 2.5.
What? Oh, Hedonist?
The song, yeah.
Hedonist is 3:20.
Yeah, but I said 3.5.
Oh, you said 2.5.
Did I? Oh, sorry. I was looking at the song underneath it, and then my heart fell when I saw 153. So, wah, wah. Okay, Hedonist recharged in 3, 2, 1.
Probably comes right off the heels of that first song
Yeah.
in a seamless transition. Ooh. Love it.
Cool. Very, very poppy. Drum and
love this
bassy.
part.
Yeah.
Yep. That's such a good scream.
Yeah.
I see him.
Whoa. Okay.
Love it.
Okay, Spirit Box.
Love that stop. It's just such a.
Yeah. Dude, that song attacked.
Yeah, it did.
It attacked. Okay, so I think the male vocals we were hearing there were the other guy from Wargasm.
Oh, there's a dude
I
more
think
guessing?
it's a male and a female, and I think they both do vocals. If I'm remembering correctly, I don't think that was the dude from Bad Omens, but I could be wrong. Let us know in the comments if you're a fan of them. The female vocals there, I was getting a lot of Poppy from that.
Yep.
Interesting. Her scream was a lot different than Poppy's scream, though Poppy doesn't scream really that much. When Poppy does it, it's more of like a
Like a horror scream, like a classic.
It's like a shocking thing. Whereas this was much more of a controlled, like, I scream in our songs all the time type of thing.
Right. Two definitely very different screams, yeah.
Yeah.
But you haven't heard those two Poppy sing?
Right, I haven't. And I liked that. I liked that one.
Yep.
I thought that was good. I will say there were a few moments where I thought I heard, like, the only thing I guess I would criticize it of is like parts of the song, and maybe they did that. Maybe they edited it like this on purpose to make the song have a particular feeling. But it almost sounded to me like the Wargasm people recorded their vocals in a not necessarily ideal space, and then sent them to the Bad Omens guy, and he had to add all these effects to the vocals to make it sound like it fit in with it, like the vocals were distorted the entire time, like in this moment style, like slightly almost too distorted.
There was a little in this moment in there for sure.
Yeah, and I think that there were moments, especially when she was screaming, where I really felt like I heard the room that she was standing in.
Oh, interesting.
And it was like this hollow, boxy sound. And now maybe they did that on purpose to separate the vocals, because I didn't necessarily really notice that as much when she wasn't screaming. But maybe it's a very common practice when you're doing vocals like that and you have someone that's very dynamic and she's singing like Poppy and then you're screaming all of a sudden, to use two microphones when you're recording vocals. And one of them is for the clean vocals and one of them is for the screaming vocals.
Sure.
If the person wants to try to do stuff in like single takes, of course you can reset or whatever. But like generally, if you have a screaming microphone, the practice would maybe be to move it a little bit further back from the other microphone, or especially have the volume turned way down on it. But it's not uncommon to have it moved further back, so you do get more of the room in there. But I felt like there were a few moments during that where I thought, oh, this doesn't necessarily sound like up to the quality of everything we've heard so far. And that was, if that is the case, then I think the guy did like a masterful job of putting the specific effects on their vocals so that it wouldn't be noticeable. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Like he hit it very well, I think.
Yeah.
And if it was a choice to do that on purpose and add the room tone to some of their vocals, then I can understand why they would do that too, to help separate it from the different parts of the different song within the song. So like if that's the case, I wouldn't begrudge them that at all either. So that was the only thing I noticed that was not like jaw on the floor amazing the whole time.
Yeah. So something that keeps coming across my mind as we go through this is like, what is this? Like, it's listed as being an original soundtrack, but it's not, because it's not a soundtrack to anything. And I've seen other bands do that, where they have like a soundtrack to a property that doesn't exist. And I think Clayton's done that. And Protoman did that. That was almost entirely covers, but still they listed it as a soundtrack for a movie that wouldn't exist. And so it is just really like, what is this? Because there is a certain shortness, or otherwise just like that missing element that you mentioned in the first song does sort of continue through, where it's like that episode of Community where they have all those flashbacks to things that we never saw on the show.
Yeah.
It's just like, it feels like that, where you talk, like you mentioned, it's like, it feels like a remix album and they're remixing songs that we never heard the original versions of.
Yes. Honestly, like I was going to tell you, you should go to Wargasm's page and just look and see if they have that song on one of their albums. You know what I mean? Like maybe they have a version that they'd made that's featuring Bad Omens or something like that. You know what I mean? And maybe that's what each one of these songs is. You know, maybe on Poppy's new album or something, she has her own version of the Poppy song, and it's Poppy featuring, you know, but Poppy would probably just have this song and release it as a joint release with her and Bad Omens. But yeah, I don't know. I think the fact that they call it OST, the fact that it's 3 specific separate parts, it's called Concrete Jungle, the OST, which Concrete Jungle was the first track off of The Death of Peace of Mind.
Yes.
So, and what I read on in both of those articles, so it must have been like a press release from the band or from Sumerian Records or whatever, saying that it is a companion album to The Death of Peace of Mind. So this is just supposed to be like I would hope it would be awesome if they released like a 3-disc set that was like the complete definitive Death of Peace of Mind, you know, and it's the original album plus all of this on 2 discs. I think that would be awesome. You can't even buy Death of Peace of Mind on CD anymore because they only had such a limited run of it the first time. But
interesting.
Yeah, you can't. You can't. As far as I know, last time I looked, which was around Christmas time, you couldn't purchase a copy of it even from Sumerian Records website. But maybe now they have more copies. But yeah,
I don't understand.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do with something being labeled a companion piece?
I know.
Like, where do I put that?
I know.
Because in my mind, I think, you're supposed to play them at the same time, and then it makes a full set of songs. But that's nonsense.
Yeah. Yeah. See, to me, it would make almost more sense if on Spotify this was just called the Death of Peace of Mind Deluxe Edition. You know what I mean? And all these were songs on there. But I almost appreciate it more because they didn't do that. You know what I mean? Like this is its own separate thing.
And like that song specifically, the Orgasm one we just finished, is the least Bad Omens sounding of the group so far.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe for all we know, they are making a movie called Concrete Jungle, and this is literally the songs that are in it. I mean,
yeah, for sure. Yeah, it could be like a Melanie Martinez thing where they stitch all the music videos together into a cohesive film.
Yep.
And this is that. And what a movie it would be. I don't even have the slightest idea what would happen. But
you would think if they were going to do that, they would just make videos for the Death of Peace of Mind and not new songs to go with the Death of Peace of Mind that then have videos with them. I think this is just a collaboration album. Like what we're listening to now is just a way for them to collaborate with other artists.
I was thinking that, and I had this thought of like earlier. This is barely even speculative. This is just a fantasy consideration I had because I have no better information. Mm-hmm. But like, I think it's safe to say that Bad Omens went from a band of reasonable repute to one of the biggest bands in the world 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I just feel like so many of the other bands were probably like, holy hell, can we work with you? You know, beloved of God, can you do a thing? Because we just mentioned, like, if you said if you were in a band and you heard this, you would hit up there and be like, can you master my album instead? Mm-hmm. And it's maybe that same thought process of like, oh my God, can I work with you guys? You have just blown my brains out of my head.
Yeah.
And now I have no confidence in anything.
Especially with the way their album was. We keep saying that it's more of an electronic album than it is a metal album, but I would consider them to be a metal band. So like,
yeah. And it's, that's a testament.
They're like
to going.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say that's a testament, like going back to our conversation we've had 1,000 times about what is heavy.
Right.
Where it's like you've got this heavy electronics and metal, and it's like the discernible differences between them in terms of especially like the frequency ranges that they take place in and how to mix them all together. Mm-hmm. Not too much different from each other because you're trying to just fill out this huge spectrum of like just like a sausage of sound that is huge and full all the time. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, even though that was primarily electronic, and you can still consider them a metal band, and you would still have full confidence in their ability to mix both of those things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what I was going to say was they are a band that's poised to do things like remixes more than any other metal band because, as I said, they do they have multiple songs that are not metal at all. They're just electronic songs, you know? So like they can do the electronic side of things just as well as the metal side of things. And, you know, I didn't, the reason I didn't fight with you, or not fight with you, the reason I didn't disagree with you a moment ago when you said that they're one of the bigger bands in the world is because the other day I came across a meme on Facebook or something, and it was just like a video of like going through the decades of metal, you know, and it was like Metallica and Iron Maiden and Megadeth, and then it was like Linkin Park and Korn and Slipknot, and then it was My Bullet for My Valentine and this, and then they went to Sleep Token and Bad Omens. And they were playing samples of each thing, and it was like metal, Sleep Token, and Bad Omens, which is, you know, not. But the point of it was to kind of make fun or poke fun at like modern metal, and it's totally true. Like, Sleep Token is a majority of that album is just not metal at all.
Well, I think you know, electronic is the evolution of metal. Like, how are you going to make heavy music heavier?
Dubstep.
Add more guitars? Like,
you're right.
No, you're going to throw in electronic elements.
Yeah, for sure. And it just makes the most sense, especially when you can especially now, when one human being can sit down and make an entire metal album that sounds just as good, if not better, sonic quality wise now than like Metallica's. Then like what we've been listening to is better than the best sounding Metallica album by miles. Yeah. Miles. It doesn't even come close. And this is all probably, I assume everything we've heard here was done by the one dude. Like, I would be surprised if it was more than just the vocalist who like basically does everything for Bad Omens, you know? I'm pretty sure he's the guy that does all the electronic stuff and all the recording and probably the mixing and mastering, and he probably plays the guitar well enough to do what they're doing here. So like, why not? Is the question that and bands nowadays have grown up with things, you know, it's happening. Well, okay, I guess it's not even happening anymore. We're there. It happened incrementally, right? Like when we were in high school, if you were a band and you had keyboards, your band was like a wussy metal band. And then Linkin Park became the biggest band in the world. And so it was okay to have keyboards. It was okay to have rap. It was okay to sing. And, you know, and then we had Stained, and then we had new metal became a thing, and then there was a bit of a rebellion against that and all this stuff, and so you can trace heavy music through what it's going through, and we've reached a point now where it's like there shouldn't be any more surprises. The only way it could be surprising is if all of a sudden they decided to merge metal and country. Like, literally nothing else would be surprising. I can't think of a single other genre of music or anything that you could put into metal that would be surprising at this point. And the thing that makes the most sense, obviously, like you said, is electronic music, because, you know, when Skrillex became such a big thing, I remember one of the big things that happened when he was getting huge, and people like to discredit him a lot, and I don't really know why, probably because he just looked like such a tool at the time. But like, I remember seeing an interview with Tommy Lee, which my feelings on Tommy Lee are mixed, but I love the Methods of Mayhem album, and I love his solo albums.
Okay.
And I will not listen to any Motley Crue albums because I don't want to I don't want to do that.
Right. Why would you want to do that?
Maybe if we had to and people really wanted it, but
don't give him any ideas.
But he was giving an interview, and he was saying that he played at this festival, right, where Motley Crue or Tommy Lee or someone was playing at this festival, and he heard Skrillex playing, and he had to go out and see what it was, and he was shocked that their kids were like mosh pitting to electronic music. And he said he never thought that could happen, that there could be another genre of music that like elicited or brought out those emotions in people.
That heaviness, yeah.
And when that happened, a lot of people poo-pooed dubstep so much because Hollywood was just grabbed it and was like, every movie trailer ever in the whole world has to have dubstep in it now. But the thing is, like, really cool dubstep music is like some of the coolest, heaviest, most intense stuff that you can find. And incorporating that style with metal, which is what we're hearing here, because we're not hearing necessarily metal drum beats, we're hearing electronic drum beats throughout, you know?
Yeah.
Whether there's sort of more hip hop influenced or the floor to the floor stuff that we were hearing in that song too. And dubstep is very famous for having things build, and then have a half tempo, right? Like just very slow
the drop.
drums, right? And that's what metal's done forever. That is literally what a breakdown is in metal. And so you're absolutely right. It just totally makes sense to have electronic music and mix it the way they're doing here. The thing that's just so mind-boggling to me is that this all kind of is being packaged and presented to us and feels like something that's like not even like an album and just sort of almost like a side thought. And it still sounds like better than anything Clayton's ever released, better than any Metallica album I've ever heard, better than any of that stuff.
I mean, honestly, better than most things that you can currently listen to.
Yeah, and I'm not, and it's not necessarily a super fair comparison because it is much harder to have a band go in the studio and record them and have that sound really good than to do everything yourself electronically. But like, we're to the point now where it doesn't really matter, you know. Like, why would you? I guess the idea of like having pride and there's something to like doing it in a more organic way and the joy you get from that. But like, why wouldn't you want your album to sound as good as humanly possible? And you can't get it to sound any better than this, you know? So it's like, just makes sense. Yeah. I don't know. Sorry.
And it makes me wonder, like, I haven't gone back really through their earlier stuff, but it makes me wonder if they're sort of following in like in this moment kind of trajectory where like they were much more of a regular band before.
I think they were.
They're moving more and more into electronics, and we might, you know, they may have completely separated themselves from traditional metal by the time we get another album or two out of them.
Yeah, like Linkin Park. You know, and you know, I was going to mention this at the beginning of the video, and I was like, yeah, but I did when I was in the hospital earlier this year, for that long period of time when I was in the hospital, I was going through albums that because at the end of every year, for people who are unfamiliar, we do our top 12 albums of the year list every year, and so for me, the last quarter of every year basically is just like only listen to music that came out that year, like nothing else exists for me.
Yeah.
And so then when I get to January, I always feel this like sense of relief, like, okay, now's the time to listen to whatever I want. And so I usually use that time in the first couple months of the year to go back and listen to things that I discovered, look at, you know, previous albums and bands' catalogs. And I tried to go back and listen to the first two Bad Omens albums, and I just couldn't make it more than a couple songs into them. It just wasn't catching my attention at all. It sounded a lot more generic. It did still sound good, and there was still a lot of electronics in it, but it wasn't this at all. It wasn't The Death of Peace of Mind at all. It was much more stereotypical band. And it just wasn't speaking to me. Now, maybe I wasn't in the right frame of mind or whatever. There was a lot of stuff going on at the time. So I should probably give those things a different shot. And we have had people recommend on the channel that we need to listen to some of their older stuff too, but I don't know.
Yeah, how is your top 12 doing this year so far, by the way?
I think it's going to be a great year.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great. I mean, we have a fantastic Black Keys album that's definitely going to be there. The first album I listened to that came out at the very beginning of January that I did listen to in the hospital, the new Emma Bulls album, that's been my number one since I heard it. I think it's phenomenal. Wow. But we've also got the new Joywave album just came out. It sounds fantastic, but it's short. But that'll probably still be in the top 12. I haven't heard the Big Train yet, but I imagine that could be my even number one. If we do get a new Spirit Box album, which we're supposed to, that I expect to be fire from front to back. We could get a new, you know, there's a lot of things we could be getting. So I'm very excited. I think the rest of the year looks really good, but in terms of the first 6 months, I think we've had some really good albums.
I'm hoping the rest of the year does something different than the first half, because we're halfway through the year, and I think I might have 2 albums in the list.
That's a bummer.
Nothing is coming across my desk.
See, we just last week the new Eels album came out, and normally they are a band that I would do a reaction to without question, because I very much love the Eels. I have like their entire catalog. It's like 20 albums at this point. And but I reacted to their last album from 2 years ago, and it got a copyright claim, and I couldn't use the audio. So I was like, screw that! I ain't wasting my time this year. And I listened to a few samples of the songs the other day, and that, from the samples I heard, that could be like, it sounds amazing. Now, every one of those songs might fade out, which would really hinder my love of that, but I think we've got a lot of good things coming out this year. We're going to have a new Browning album, which is going to be their first album on Fixed record label.
Oh wow, they're moving over there too.
Yeah, it's going to be. They just released a single the other day for the first time, and I haven't heard it, but it's their first new music in a while. And
I wonder if it'll sound like Clayton.
I don't think so.
Does.
I think that they have diversified enough now that everything on their record label doesn't sound like his music anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, they really put a lot of effort last year into expanding. They basically separated all their artists into 3 different categories. It's like the metal category, the synthwave category, and then the general electronic category. And so like they really do have a lot of different artists.
With like the washing machines and stuff, refrigerators.
Yes.
GE.
Yes,
yeah.
General Electric. Yes, thank you, Grandma. But Browning, one other I'm even more excited for this is that the guy from the Browning, whose name is Browning,
Is that his first name?
his last name. I can't forget. I can't think of his first name. It's like Ted Browning or something like that. Brian Browning or something. I don't know. But he has another band that's also on Fixed record label that has a female vocalist, and it's called Destiny X Destiny. Okay. They have an album coming out this year. And I also reacted to an album from a Fixed record label called the band is called The Plague, I think.
Surprised they're the first band to be able to be called that.
And they released 4 songs at the beginning of this year, 2 new ones and 2 older ones on an EP. And the 2 songs that they released that were like the 2 good ones are like fire. I think I showed them to you because remember they're the guys that have I sent it to you. They sound like Weird Al, but then they have this like just intense, super heavy metal like we're listening to now. Like it was very Bad Omens mixed with Weird Al, basically. So
if I was supposed to listen to that on my own, I must not.
Yeah,
That doesn't
I
sound
specifically sent you a link to it. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
We can go on.
Yeah, let's get moving.
Yeah,
through.
sorry, got distracted there.
We're good.
Okay, this is
Even.
Even.
And that's all it says. Even. This might just be Bad Omens.
It could be. All right. In 3, 2, 1.
I thought I saw you looking through the glass I put my hand to,
Slow song, maybe?
but it was bad news.
No, I can feel a beat.
On the other side of
Plus, how often does their song ever just stay one?
Yeah, that's true.
follow me home.
I want like a sweet trip hop beat here.
I don't care either way, either way.
This could do a lot of
It
things.
very well could.
Is it going to pick the one I want?
What if I stop breathing? Could I get off?
All right.
That reverse thing, it almost sounds like a book page is turning, you know, like just flipping through a book pages. You know? I bet that's what that is.
What could it change?
Do you know what I meant?
I know what you meant. I don't think that I would agree that it is.
Okay,
but
okay.
I know how you got there.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of other ways you could make something like that, but just what it sounded like to me. Mm-hmm. What a cool idea for a sound, you know. It'd be like an analog way to mimic the sound of like record static.
Inside a locked room, hiding your
There's so many different things happening. Yep, you got that thing you wanted. You keep saying stuff and they keep making it so.
They sure do. This is great. Make a whole album of this. Do this.
This is like, it started off and I was like, here's some Icy Stars, and then now we're into Daft Punk territory, and we got some Purity Ring in here. This is all over the place.
Yes, the analog sounding drum loop was really cool. They're just having fun. That's what I'm saying. Nothing's
This is
off
very
limits.
Daft Punk right now.
real bass guitar.
With
It's
nothing
like they're
happening.
flexing. Like we're gonna do.
Right.
We're gonna show you we can do anything, and we're gonna do it better than you can do.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, what is this album besides like we just can't control our ideas anymore? Like we have to make
the
something
end of
happen
the
with
song?
everything. That's it.
Boo. Sorry, the next one started really huge.
Boo hiss.
Boo hiss. Yes, that should have been longer. Loved it. Loved it.
Yep. Once again, doesn't belong anywhere with anything.
Nope.
But it was great. Sounded great.
I would have liked to have had like a more defined chorus there and have a female doing the chorus. That would have leaned into the trip hop vibes of it a little bit more, and I feel like that could have really they could have stepped the song up one more time. I'm not saying they had to add guitars and make it heavy, but just like step it up one more time.
Infected mushroom style.
A little bit,
One more lap through.
little bit, and then have repeat a chorus. You know, make it the third time the chorus happens. Then that would have been a really special one. It's still special and unique amongst itself, but it didn't feel necessarily like a fully fleshed idea to me.
Agree. It felt like it cut itself just short.
Okay, so loading screen. Does yours say anything?
Just loading screen.
It's loading screen. Okay, well this is 1:53, so a pathetic amount of time. But maybe this is another rap one. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe this is like a weird little intermission song.
Are you ready? Mm-hmm. All right. In 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, it feels like it technically would be part of the previous song.
Yeah. They're trying to out pendulum.
They might do it.
There are some sacred things in this world you don't touch, and you do not touch pendulum. Dude, those keyboard parts, those brass, that's so cool.
What's the what?
The brass patch.
Oh, yeah.
Sounded like a Sonic thing almost.
This has a real 2002 kind of vibe to it.
I was thinking 1996.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like Prodigy,
Yeah.
you know?
Getting like so many like 90s, late 90s like PlayStation 1 games.
Yeah, yes. Almost as if it was a song on a soundtrack.
Almost, yeah. And it's called loading screen. So
I'm not even going to count that as a fade out since it was a waste of time anyway.
yeah.
All right, should we just go into the next one?
Yeah, anything greater than human.
Is this one just Bad Omens as well?
Bad Omens and Era, ERRA.
Oh, they're a metal band.
Oh, okay.
Let's see what they got
Well,
for us.
we're looking at a full ass song, 4 minutes.
Yay! All right, in 3, 2, 1.
This life was all it had to be. Designed, but not for you and me. I never needed you to be anything more than human.
Anything more than you can just chew it. Just
Yes.
I dream it all, wake up screaming. Wishing that I was someone else.
You can really hear that voice on the right side.
Leaves me in a catatonic peace.
Interesting, like delay and effect there.
Finally sleep now.
yes. Bad Omens.
You to crawl out of my skin.
I think this is the guy from Era, the band.
Really?
Little genty.
I think that was the Bad Omens guy, and this
Do you think?
chorus has Era. Back screaming vocal in the back.
Are they gonna shred us to pieces here, or go wimpy, wimpy,
I expect
wimpy?
a drop
Or
into
hefty,
hell.
hefty.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Oh, cool.
This life was all it had to be designed, but not for you and me. I never needed you to be anything more than human.
Interesting. That song to me felt a little bit phoned in.
What?
Yeah, it was cool.
That sounded like the most full fat song on the album so far.
I agree that it sounded fat, but the guitar was basically just going bah, 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 bah. Like there was no part to it, which is fine. That we've heard songs like that so far on the album, but I feel like what they were doing earlier on the album with the heavier stuff was more interesting than this. I feel like this was interesting because of the introduction of the heavy vocals from the guest vocalist. Mm-hmm. And really, that's the only thing that caught my attention with this one.
I was gonna say, you could just slot this in somewhere on the album that I can't remember the name of now.
Spirit Box? Oh,
No.
Death of Peace of Mind?
Yeah, Peace of Mind. You could just pick a spot, slide this in, and it fits. It's right in there. It would.
I could see
It
that.
would not. It would bring no detriment to the album whatsoever.
Okay. It did feel like the most full song, I would say.
Yeah.
You know, the most complete song. I just feel like it to me it lacked some of the like personality of what I've been feeling the other songs. That, like I said, it just felt a little more phoned in to me.
Okay.
So, let's go on to, I think this is the last one. Or no, we got two more. Digital Footprint
more, yeah.
and Nervous System. Digital Footprint. What does it say for this one?
Just Digital Footprint.
Okay.
No guests.
No awesome rap
and,
vocals.
Yep. And almost 5 minutes, so maybe it does have all kinds of wild stuff.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'm excited about this one. I've been excited about every one of them, though. So, By the way, I love that was anything more than human, and they used the more than sign.
Yes.
That's just cool. It's just
It
cool.
is good.
All right.
I was hoping that was going to go that way.
Yeah. Yes. All right. Digital Footprint in 3, 2, 1.
See, I feel like even making this would be difficult to get right.
I mean, yeah, I definitely think so. The mix is just just perfect.
I couldn't do it. Yeah. But I don't make music, so.
They're doing a lot of things that are interesting. Like there's some weird little drum thing that's happening in the far left and far right, and it's just this weird little distorted thing. But without that being there, the whole song would feel a lot more static. Like
Now we're getting this distant.
we're gonna get a dubstep song. This is really cool, but I think I'm starting to kind of get the bigger picture that this is more just like an EP, you know, like they had like maybe 3 or 4 really great songs, like 5/6 of the way there. And then there's just some pieces of things, you know, like obviously this is just some sort of instrumental thing that's really cool, but I don't know how much it's going to change from this. The previous track was a good one. The track before that was just an interlude. The track before that felt unfinished and short. The track before that also felt short. That rap song felt short. You know, so it's almost like bits and pieces, like a mixtape or something almost. So I think we're getting a better idea of this particular piece of the project as a whole, and I understand why it's not its own like separate album or something, you know.
I'm a little surprised that they would make something this long that does this little. It's very unlike them.
Yeah. Maybe this is what they play at the beginning of their show before they start, you know? Something like that.
The highs are so good.
Yes.
Like, just a little...
Handled very well.
Honestly, maybe calling it a soundtrack is a way of setting expectations.
That's a great point. Yeah.
Because this is fantastic soundtrack material.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this could absolutely be used in a movie.
Like, this could be part of the Old Boy soundtrack.
Yeah, yes. I've had that Old Boy soundtrack sitting right here for like months. But I moved it.
Can't wait to get it someday.
Moved it over to the other side of the room.
Cool.
Oof. Yeah, the next one sounds cool. I was slow on that.
I heard eat and then I hit stop.
Okay.
So there's something happening.
Yeah, that was
cool.
It was cool, you know, like we both said, it was a nice instrumental, like it felt like it could be on a movie trailer or something behind an action sequence, you know, with lots of sound effects and dudes getting beat up and stuff. Mm-hmm. Very neat the way that it was put together. Sounds phenomenal quality wise. You know, I'd rather have that on there than not on there. But like I said when we were listening there, I think we're starting to get a better picture of what this is overall. At least this first part of it, and I'm agreeing with the fact that it is more of a supplemental thing with their previous album, and thinking of it as a separate project would have probably set expectations too high, like you were saying. So calling it a soundtrack on something like that is a way to
and it wasn't even
temper
I wasn't even saying that in reference to the idea of like setting expectations particularly high or low, but just more of like what
to expect,
what type of thing you can expect to hear on this, like that right there. As a soundtrack piece, is as normal as it gets. That's perfectly reasonable. The least surprising thing of all time. If this was a full album, that would be an interesting choice.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that makes me wonder if they picked that specifically so they could be a little bit more dynamic with the types of songs they choose to make.
Yeah.
Just in general.
Which they did have that one electronic instrumental song on Death of Peace of Mind towards the last part of the album, I think before the Artificial Suicide song. So they did have kind of like a weird thing like that, but that song to me felt like there was a little bit more put into it than this. Like this was basically just like a lot of electronic music like that. It was the same things, the same thing the entire time, repeated like 6 times, and then it was just every section was different pieces taken out and put in.
Yeah.
That's all it was. But it was still really cool sounding. So let's get to the last track on this part. This is Nervous System. So what does this one say?
Bad Omens and Iris.exe.
Okay. Interesting. I'm assuming that...
And the R is capital. IRIS.
Okay, I'm assuming that that's some kind of an artist or something.
Yeah, I would imagine like when Lights works with IO, you know.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Yeah. Okay, well, let's just give this one a listen. In 3, 2, 1.
And I suspect that's Iris.
Probably. I think that's a good assumption.
Little flyleaf sounding.
Yes.
They always push all the right buttons.
That's gotta be what's her face from Flyleaf.
Oh. I've become the Maxell man.
Oh. Now that sounds like Lights.
It does.
Rich, you even heard the New Religion, like that's Prodigal Son.
Oh! Yes, what a great sound. Ugh.
Yeah. Now we're getting into some Infected Mushroom stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
This one sounds different sonically.
Yep.
This was done at a different time. Oh.
Man, oh man. So much super low end under that little fill there.
See, I might not be getting that in my headphones.
This is so good.
It is really cool.
Jeez. keep doing it. Every time she says it and then they start this bit over, it's like, ah! Whole new fire hose, man, right in the face. Oh, that was great.
That was great.
I want an entire album of that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, as soon as when we were listening to that, I was like, now I kind of wish they wouldn't have messed around with this and just made a new album.
Yeah.
Like when's the next? We'll probably get it next year. Would be my thought.
Yeah. As far as I can tell, Iris.exe is a relative nobody. She's not from the Flyleaf chick or anything like that.
Yeah, I was trying to think of her name because she released a solo album this year, and I was listening to it, and the first like 3 or 4 songs on it were like bangers, like amazing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then after that, it just kind of went and turned it out. But the first 3 songs on that album are great. I was trying to think of her name.
I couldn't find it. She doesn't have a wiki page that I could see.
Let me.
Her name is. Don't tell me.
Oh, I gotta cheat and ask Google. Hey Google, who's the singer for Flyleaf?
Oh.
Lacey Strum.
Oh, okay.
Hey Google, stop. Yeah. Okay, so what did you find out about Iris.exe?
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Doesn't really seem to be much of anybody on her own. She's kind of a...
Well, if you took Flyleaf and Lights and they had a baby, it would be this lady. Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, that was like so close to being prodigal daughter from Lights there that I'm like, could have a lawsuit on her hands. Like, that was literally like almost word for word. And then before that, though, it was like Lacey from Flyleaf, like...
Right.
And she sings with such a unique style that it's like, that's clearly what they were going for. Mm-hmm. But like I said, I do think that it felt to me like that song was recorded at a different time. The audio, the sounds they were using sounded different. Like I wouldn't be surprised if that was made on a different laptop or something like that. So,
but what a banger!
Yes,
and it still had a bit of that. If Bad Omens was Röyksopp kind of deal, where it's like this is just producers doing relatively simple, or at least not particularly complex. I guess it's just one thing and then the opposite. But yeah, relatively simple electronic thing that loops a lot within this vocals thing. It's still within the realm of that for
like
sure.
Nero, a Nero type thing. But the thing that killed me with that was I thought that was really awesome. But then I was like, well, there's no way they could find a guitar part to work over this. And then they did. But it wasn't really a guitar part. It was just like white noise guitar part going da, 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 like stutter edited around it in a rhythmic pattern. Still sounded amazing. Sounded amazing.
But it worked.
Worked and sounded amazing.
So good.
Love it so much. I'm curious about some of this other stuff. Do you want to? Let's go ahead and listen to the next intro thing. So this is Find Peace, and we'll go right into Artificial Suicide Unzipped.
Yes.
Which is only a minute 52. So I'm guessing that it is just some sort of a weird thing.
Both of the unzipped tracks are listed as having Bad Omens and 1,000 Below. Whoever that is.
Don't know what that is. So, okay.
Same.
I do believe that these next songs, so Artificial Suicide, The Gray, Death of Peace of Mind, and Death of Peace of Mind, and then Bad Decisions, and Just Pretend, are all remixes.
I think so too. And one thing I find very interesting about the labeling on this for the Death of Peace of Mind is that they're patches. We Are Fury patch and So Wiley patch. And they are with We Are Fury and with So Wiley. So it's like, here's 2 different versions of the same song. Mm-hmm. And I think that's going to be some really neat Peter Gabriel type stuff in terms of like getting different versions of the same thing.
Yeah, it'll be. I'm anxious to see what these unzipped ones are. That's what I'm curious.
Same.
Okay, so let's listen to Find Peace, the 57-second intro, and then we'll go into Artificial Suicide Unzipped. Ready? Mm-hmm. In 3, 2, 1. Okay, we're back to what the first beat death thing was with this sort of like stutter edited, chopped up stuff. Mm-hmm. I was expecting that, but do you know, I saw the other day online that their song Just Pretend is their biggest song. I couldn't even think of which song that is off of Death of Peace of Mind.
Yeah, I can't pick that up.
Like, it wasn't one of the
listen
ones
to
that stood out to me, but apparently it got really big on TikTok, and it's their most like listened to song on Spotify.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's the one that like propelled them, and I don't even remember which one it is. So I'm excited.
This
when we
is
get
this is reminding me of the game Control,
Yeah.
which is an exquisitely fantastic game. And the primary reason that I can't wait to play Alan Wake 2.
The DLC for it.
For what, Alan Wake 2? Oh yeah. Oh, that DLC. Oh,
That actually
man.
you can actually play it. Okay, here we go. Now this might just be some baloney that we.
Definitely not acoustic.
This is the stupidest thing, and I love it. Give me that whole chorusy thing one more time. They're not going to though. Maybe
They might.
Yeah. That was a thing. That was a thing. That was a thing.
That was a wild ass thing. And so
Unnecessary.
you just don't know what's gonna. Oh, absolutely. But it's like, what is gonna happen? Because it's like you've got the pitch down vocal, so it's like maybe this is like a slow, kind of drugged up version. But then it's like, we'll pitch the vocals down, and then we'll make
we'll
it
do
twice
the
as fast.
opposite of that. We'll literally
Yeah.
just speed this song up and add like a drum beat over the top of it.
But it ruled.
Yes, I could listen to that a million times in a row. And it still wouldn't equal the length of the first version. Okay, I don't even know what to say. Let's just keep going. I'm having fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so this
That
is the
was great.
gray, also unzipped. I'm curious
Yep,
if this
also
is
with
fast.
Thousands Below.
Yeah, who knows? So all right,
So
here we
maybe
go.
it'll-
In 3,
Yep.
2, 1. So this is the same, featuring the same person as the previous one?
Yep.
Okay. I think it's another fast version.
For 3 minutes, let's go. Let's go.
The Chipmunk version.
This is the anime version of this song.
That is a great way to put it. A great way to put it. Oh my god, now that you've said that, that is the most accurate thing I've ever heard. I can picture exactly what the anime is. There's clouds moving, it's a shot from below, it's a static shot of just a dude with hair blowing in the wind with the clouds in the background.
He's like walking.
No, it's just
by
static.
himself?
Just static. But the background's kind of moving. Oh my god.
This part is like Vash the Stampede walking across the screen in front of a sunset.
Yes. 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 Just silhouettes. Yes.
And now this is the action part with all the guns and the flips and the zoom in and out.
And here comes the happy girl that likes to cook and wear an apron for some reason. You know? No shirt under the apron.
She also has a gun.
Yes, she also has a gun. Hey, did you ever watch, I was thinking about this one the other day, because it's been so long since I watched any anime. Because all we have right now is Peacock, and there's no anime on Peacock, which is a huge bummer. But, did you ever watch Gunslinger Girl?
No.
It's a good one.
You hear that? It's like this high, like...
Yeah, there's like definitely some chiptuniness to this.
Yeah.
Glitchy glitch.
I love this part. This is so stupid. I love it.
Yeah, it is really stupid. Part of it makes me mad, and the other part's like, damn it, this is awesome. And that's the part that wins out.
Wash it away.
And then this is just like, how can this be heavier than Metallica?
Right? But it is.
It is.
Those kick transients have such a crunch to them. Like it's almost 8-bit. Like
Yes,
like it's just so
they're
hard
definitely
and square.
Yes, there definitely was some like chiptune stuff there. No, the furnace, not the furnace, the air conditioning, the central air.
It's fine.
It's loud. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, I have to get up and shut that door though. So I will do
It
that.
is a little loud, but it also shows it shows how gated Streamlabs is.
Well, it won't be gated for me, but it also is. It's I think today the high was 92, something like that. So yeah, and it's a dry heat too. We had in Omaha they had like 2 to 3 inch hail last night.
Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah. Okay, hold on one sec.
Stop that.
Okay, Death of Peace of Mind. We Are Fury patch. You ready to hear?
Bad Omens and We Are Fury.
See what the heck this is. Are you ready?
Yes.
In 3, 2, 1. Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, very cool. Okay, build it up.
I love that they kept the hums in there. That's so good.
Yeah. See, now we should have a rap verse coming in over this. This would be so cool, right? Boo! Length of song is boo!
Well, it is a little bit tricky because most of that song, like the verses, were a little bit too close to the original.
I
And
agree.
the chorus was so cool.
Yeah.
That it's like, what do you want this to be? Because if you're going to stick that close to the original, I want a full-length song.
Yeah.
And it just kind of was like, it couldn't decide which direction to go, and then it ended early.
Yeah, and I don't even think, like, there aren't any other parts of the song. If I remember the original song correctly, like, then in the metal kicks in there, and then then they just go to the chorus one more time. So there's just like a bridge, and then they go to the chorus one more time. So
what, another 30 seconds tops?
no, it could be like another minute, but like,
Sure.
you know, it's not necessarily necessary here. However, if they'd have kept that beat going, taken out the sort of like, I don't know, I was just thinking of it as like basketball stuff in there, which doesn't sound like basketball, but I was just like, man, this sounds like something that the basketball team could warm up to when they're shooting their hoops at the beginning of the game, warming up. But, you know, keep that beat going and then just have a rapper come in and do a rap verse about death to peace of mind and then go back into the chorus. Like, you'd have a
You could replace the metal bit with the rap bit and make this a complete, like, remix.
Yeah, yes, and it would be, yeah. Okay, so let's just go right into the next one. This is the same song, but a different remix. And this is So Wiley.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
3, 2, 1. Oh, yeah. I don't know how I feel about this speeding things up and it just not being for comedy. You know what I mean?
And it not being for comedy is a great addition to that. I don't know, a lot of female vocalists slow their stuff down a lot these days, and I think it's always super rad.
Yeah.
You're just mad because it crosses over into that type of vocal you don't like to hear anymore. I love the music, what's happening here. It's so simple.
Yeah.
I like this better than the previous one, I think.
Oh, I definitely don't, but I like it's definitely more different than the original, though, so I appreciate it more from a remix standpoint.
Yeah, this is cool. Awesome.
This is cool.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, that's awesome.
This is fantastic.
Dude,
Excellent.
that shows you what electronic music can do.
Yeah.
Because that was like unrecognizably the same
just
song.
the coolest thing.
That was really cool. You know
I
what?
love
Go ahead.
the whole time there was so much space,
Yes. And that
which
was
gave them
yeah.
all kinds of freedom to do all kinds of weird shit, and they did, and that's what it sounds
Yep.
like. I'm looking forward to this next song, I gotta say.
Me too, because Bad Decisions is one of my favorite songs off of the Death of Peace of Mind. It is a long slow song. However, it says lo-fi, which is not appealing to me.
I think lo-fi is more of a genre than what you can expect out of the production.
Oh, I agree, and I think that we'll see. Maybe I could be wrong, but when I see lo-fi, I think it's going to intentionally sound bad.
I don't think it will. Well, I mean, we'll see. We'll see if we can figure out what the definition of that is.
My guess is it's going to just be run through billions of filters to the point where it doesn't even sound like the same thing anymore. But we'll see.
I think it'll be better than that. It includes Dahlia, whoever that is.
Okay.
So.
Okay. All right. Let's listen to that. In 3, 2, 1.
I'm taking it slow.
Okay, way already better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, that's what I kind of expected.
Quick it gets lonely here at the top.
So this is Dahlia singing, you think?
Feels unholy, but I'm still charmed. The morals I'm holding, you know they're gone.
Good
No
question.
God, no religion,
No.
I think it is.
just bad at decisions.
Yeah, maybe. We'll go back and forth.
No God, no religion,
Because it's not the original vocal track.
No.
just bad at decisions. You can be all I got. What's the difference?
Yes. It is her. It's gotta be.
Handle on bad decisions. All I know is bad decisions.
We're going to get a drum beat or not? Okay.
I've decided that lo-fi is the acoustic version of an electronic song.
That's interesting.
I'm only human, but I'm afraid I may never learn from all my mistakes. Don't know what I'm doing, but that's okay, 'cause I like it that way. You can be all I got, what's the difference? Hennessy and a lot of bad decisions. All I know is bad decisions. You can be all I got, what's the difference? You and me and a lot of bad decisions. All I know is bad decisions. Bitter ends to the nights. I'm alone for the ride. Out of breath, out of time. Everything has a price. Bitter ends to the nights. I'm alone for the ride. Out of breath, out of time. Everything has a price. You can be all I got. What's the difference? Hennessy and a lot of bad decisions. All I know is bad decisions. You can be all I got. What's the difference? You and me and a lot of bad decisions. All I know is bad decisions.
Lovely.
You know what that song was?
What?
You know how we always make fun of in movie trailers nowadays?
I
Like
knew it.
every trailer has like a song that's like a famous song, and then they get a female vocalist to come in and do like a slow version of it.
Yeah, they play one piano note, bing,
Yeah.
and then there's like super slow vocals.
Yeah, they just did that to their own song, which is pretty contentious.
But I mean, but it was all, no way. This is quintessential lo-fi though. Like it has all of the elements of every lo-fi version of everything. Like,
yeah, I don't know.
especially when you're listening to like game soundtracks and stuff. Like you wander around YouTube, especially if you like leave it playing and forget about it, you'll wind up in like, you know, Final Fantasy lo-fi territory or Zelda lo-fi, and this is exactly how they all sound. It is absolutely its own sort of like subgenre.
I don't think.
And I think it was great.
Yeah. I did like that. I liked that a lot. I thought that was done really well. I liked when the more high fidelity things came in.
Yeah.
Because I was like, okay, I almost feel like a better way to describe this would be minimalistic. So I don't know. I think I maybe just have a problem with calling it lo-fi. But it's so funny because I just saw an advertisement actually for a box that's called the Lo-Fi Box on Facebook earlier today. It's a like a piece of hardware that you plug into your keyboards, your guitar, or whatever, into your rig, and it has beats programmed into it and all these things. But basically, what it does is it lo-fi's any signal you put into it, and then there's got lots of knobs, and it has a lot of knobs on it. It's got
lots of knobs.
Lots of knobs. It has a lot of knobs on it that you can turn and adjust things. I assume just like filter sweeps and whatnot. And I was listening to him do it, and I was like, this is not lo-fi. I don't even know what this is. And so I was like, okay, I guess.
Interesting. Yeah.
So,
maybe it's something that does need a little bit more of a universal definition. But
yeah, I don't know.
Kind of seems like it's kind of coming into its own space.
I like that. I would have liked to have some more vocals in there, like more lush background vocals in there of the guy. Probably would have been neat to have some lower stuff from him in there, but still, that was.
I liked that one section where it went super dry just for a little bit and then came back out. That was really cool. Nice touch.
100%. All right, so now we're on to Just Pretend credits, which I love that because this has been a soundtrack this whole time, and that was the trailer song that we just heard.
Yes.
And we've got an electronic fight scene song. We've got all sorts of. It totally makes sense that they called this OST. You know,
right?
I love that.
Yeah.
So this is the credits version of their biggest song, Just Pretend. So let's see what this is.
And this is Bad Omens, Chief, and Let's Eat Grandma.
I hope one of those two artists is a rapper and we get a rap first. That's what I'm hoping. I hope Let's Eat Grandma is a rapper. I really want to buy a Let's Eat Grandma.
I want that for you.
Yeah.
I want that to happen for you.
All right, ready?
Yes.
In 3, 2, 1. And this is 4 minutes, 3:59.
I'm not afraid of the war you've come to wage against my sin.
Lights at you?
Not okay that I could try my best to just pretend. So will you wake me up?
I mean, it is.
What?
Tell me
Lights.
so will you wake me up?
Let's hear it. Let's
I
go.
don't recognize the song, though. Do you?
The song?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I can wait for you at the bottom.
Oh, man.
Stay away if you want me.
Those 80s drum fills were choice. This is so good. Oh,
That synth bass, yeah.
it's so synthy. Wavy. Toss out the old one. that synthwave bass is just bringing it for me, man.
I love how slow and plodding it is.
Vocals could stand to come up a little.
Yes.
And I will say, it sounds like a credit song.
It does, 100%. I was going to say that too.
Just pretend. pretend, pretend. Down on me, stay till morning lights on. What you say I'm worthy. Wait down
Wow.
on me, stay till morning lights on. What you say I'm worthy. I can't wait for you at the bottom. Hope you stay away if you want me to. I can't wait for years if I gotta. Heaven knows I ain't getting over you. We'll try again when we're not so different. We will make amends. Till then I'll just pretend.
Great. Great.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Great. I mean,
That song is normally 325, so we got more than the original song there.
it felt pretty short. I'm sorry. It felt pretty slow to me. So for sure, I think that, yeah, I think you could feel that. Great though. What a great interpretation of that song. How cool this whole project was.
I was just last 3 quarters of this, I was like, man, what a joy.
Yeah.
This has just been such a wonderful thing to listen to.
Yeah. I don't think I would consider it for the top 12, really. But
Yeah, I would like to be able to, and if I end up a little bit short on entries, I probably will. But it is tough to consider it to a full album, to have it feel like one.
yeah, and we can on our own time listen to the live stuff because I do like all of the songs that are on there, so.
I did see them live last year, 2 years ago, something like that.
Okay. Oh, that's right, because
And
I
they
told
killed
you
it.
I wish you would have bought me a copy of the CD because the Sons of Guns always sell out and you can't buy a copy of it.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot about that. Cool. Yeah.
I did buy you something yesterday, but you'll have to wait and see what it is.
Oh, awesome. I still got your Old Boy record here.
Yep.
I am pretty happy with that. I'm glad we reacted to that. I think that was really cool. I definitely think that was worth our time.
Yes, I agree.
And I think
That was
I hope people listen to this and it gets them excited. I want them to incorporate elements of everything we've heard here basically into their next album. Like,
I bet they will.
I really would love it if there was some synthwave stuff on there. I would love it. Not, it doesn't need to be a ton, but just throw a little bit of it in there. I would love it if there was, I don't even know if necessarily we have to have guest vocals because I do think that I like their singer's voice a lot.
Yeah,
and I think
same.
he's a fantastic singer, and I think that he's very versatile. Like, I really like
He's
his
got tons of
aggressive
range.
voice, which we did not hear on this at all.
No.
But I really like his aggressive voice, and the way that they mixed it on that album is particularly is great. And so I'm very excited to hear whatever they decide to put out next. But they are a perfect represent. This is what we said 2 years ago. They are the perfect representation of where metal is right now.
Yep.
One of the facets of metal, at least. Because there's
Right,
a
not all
lot
metal.
of different styles of metal, but one of the most accessible.
And Chris would say none of this is metal. That's fine.
Yes, exactly. He would say it's not metal, and that's fine. It's not fine. It's wrong, but
Right.
But yeah, for sure. And I'm really happy with this. So, and I'm happy that Poppy keeps getting around. You know, she
Same.
keeps just doing all these different things. And you said she's got 2 new songs out. So are we going to get a Zag this year? You know, we didn't get Zag last year.
We didn't.
And if this is so different from what Zig was, we probably won't get Zag. But if you said that they're really heavy, I believe you. And if we get a whole another really heavy album from her, I think that would be awesome. I think it's probably more likely we would just get like an EP or something, rather than a full album of just heavy. But we'll see. I haven't heard it yet, so I don't.
I mean, she's got 2 songs and they're both equally heavy in a way that makes me think that she could be putting out a whole album like this.
And
it'll be really interesting.
And the song that's on here featuring her could easily be featured on that if she wanted to as well.
It's in the same vein for sure.
So yeah. Okay, well we'll keep an eye on Bad Omens in the future, and you know, one thing I would love for people to do in the comments, if you've made it this far into the video, thank you very much. But let us know if there are metal bands out there that you like that you feel are similar to this. Because I feel like since they got so popular a few years ago, and with Sleep Token last year, there's going to be a huge wave of metal bands over the next 5 years that are being influenced by this type of thing.
I'd love to see that be true.
And I cannot wait to see what some bands come up with. And I even think things like Spirit Box are included in that box as well. Because Spirit Box also is not afraid to include certain things. Even though I feel like they have a more consistent sound, they are also, I would, you know, they could go on tour with Bad Omens very easily, and probably have been on tour. So that would totally fit. But also at the same time, like Julian K is going to be releasing a heavy album coming out soon, but they have committed to using no guitars on the album. So they're going to be making...
Do they usually?
Yes, they usually have guitars. Now, it's not necessarily crunchy guitars, but they do interesting... But they decided they wanted to make a few songs, and they were having so much fun with it. They're like, what if we could do an album? So they tried a Kickstarter pledge music type thing to see if they could if people would be interested in it. And I backed it right away. And the response was so overwhelming. They're like, we're going to try this. And so they're going to try to make a whole heavy album with with just using heavy synths.
Oh, yeah, that's much better. Because I was thinking there's only one other band.
Orgy. Those are the dudes who sort of created this heavy electronic sound.
Oh, sure.
So I'm very excited for that.
I only know one other band in my experience that has always used guitar that made an album where they decided they were not going to. And it was Death Cab.
Oh.
And that album is trash.
Yeah, you've said that they have one album that you hate. That's interesting.
I have tried so many times.
Do you think that's why you don't like it?
I don't know.
Or it's just one of the
Not
reasons?
really. It's just not. It's just not doing any.
No, they were in a creative funk and they had to try to do something to get them out of it. But do you like their albums that came out after that?
Absolutely, yeah. That's the only one of theirs I don't like, and I appreciate it for whatever it did to get them to the next place.
They needed to get that out of the way so they could go do something else. So, okay, well, thank you everybody for watching, and we will keep, like I said, we'll keep our eyes out. Let us know in the comments for bands we should check out along this line, and we'll just keep going. Thank you very much, and we will see you all next time.